Rift is a soon-to-be free-to-play MMO, developed and published by Trion Worlds. Trion as a company are pretty seasoned when it comes to making MMOs. They've also developed Defiance, Warface and End of Nations, so you can expect a pretty seasoned game from them. The first thing I want to touch on is actually the just the amount of stuff there is to do in Rift. There is so much that is available to you. There's things like crafting, artifact hunting, the main quest lines, then there's loads of achievements, then there's rep to do, and then there's always, you know, expanding your guild. There's a lot of stuff to do, and I'm going to just I can't touch on everything in detail. I'm just going to sort of explain all the stuff that Rift can offer new players. The economy in Rift is how you would expect it. There's an auction house, there's loads of ways to make money, there's actually a really thriving economy. You're encouraged to use the auction house because it's a really core way to making lots and lots of platinum for some of the really expensive items. The economy in Rift is pretty much how you would expect it to be. There's loads of ways to make money, and your auction house has everything you pretty much want it to have, and mail is delivered instantaneously, so this is very good. Horticulums, the main way of travelling around Rift, are actually really good. It's better, it's much improved on the whole Wind Rider thing from Warcraft. It's basically instantaneous travel. No longer will you have to spend, 10 minutes sat on the back of an animal just to get from one side of the map to the other. It's instantaneous travel for a very low cost, and you are going to be using Horticulums a lot. The crafting system is actually pretty incredible. There's a lot of stuff to do in terms of variants. You're not locked into a particular crafting profession. You can pretty much pick up anything you want because they're so versatile. You can make money with any profession if that's what you want to do. You can create amazing items with any profession if that's what you want to do. And there's plenty of achievements and milestones on the way. The whole class and soul system that Rift has is actually really cool. I like it a lot. It's basically you get to choose one of 4 classes, and then you can really customize your character down to the tiny details. With the old school talent trees, the ones that are to put 1% here and 1% there for just total control over how your character is going to be played and how he pans out and how he works with gear and things like this. It's really incredible. It's amazing. You'll find yourself later on actually just tweaking your character so much because it's actually really enjoyable to see the subtle differences that the talent tree changes can make. The gear and raiding in Rift is actually second to none. There's a complete variation of gear that I haven't actually had any gripes about the amount of gear that I've been able to just pick up and just see and look at. They actually have a wardrobe function where you can wear different sets of gear to what you actually have equipped, so if you don't like the look of it you can change it to something nice. They have a big variety of costume sets that you can actually buy and things like that. In terms of raiding difficulty itself, it's actually pretty well balanced. I imagine the top guilds will probably complain that it's too easy. I'd say it's exceedingly difficult, especially for me. Some bosses are actually really unique and their mechanics are exceedingly fun. PvP has always been a favourite of mine, and in Rift that's no exception. It's actually really nicely designed. The levels are. The actual classes themselves work well with each other. If your team is actually a couple of men down, it will swap some of the players over to balance it up, which is really nice and appreciated. And yeah, apart from the odd couple of maps, the PvP warfronts themselves are actually, they're very well designed, and the game modes are interesting and fun. Artifact hunting is a pretty cool part of the game. It gives you something nice to do. You basically can go around the world and find these little sparkly things all over the place, hidden in the coolest of places, and you complete the sets and you get lucky coins and titles and special pets and things like this. It's really nice if you fancy a break from the combat and the looting. Yeah. Zone events and world bosses are a pretty integral part to the game. You can have an entire zone overrun with enemies, and it's really cool to just be frantically running around trying to close rifts off and push back the invasion. If you fail, obviously it's not going to doom you forever. The zone will eventually return back to normal, but for a while you're going to be really punished. Some of these main areas, the NPCs are going to die until you manage to take these areas back, so you are encouraged to get involved with zone events and take out the bosses and get the big rewards. Obviously, because the game's called Rift, I have to touch on rifts themselves. Rifts are a pretty core part to the game. They basically allow you to open up tears in the world and bring out creatures from certain types, and you get really cool loot for doing that. There's loads of different types of rifts. There's crafting rifts, minor, major, raid rifts, like expert rifts or whatever. It's yeah, you're just gonna have to see for yourself actually how much stuff there is to do. The fact that Rift is going free to play on June the 12th, and you're going to be getting all this premium content that people have been subscribing for the past 2-3 years for nothing. I mean, that's pretty incredible, to be honest. And you know, there's no reason not to check it out. If you really enjoy MMOs, then I would definitely suggest this is for you. Apart from a few things here and there, like Warfront map design and, you know, some soul builds being very good at countering others, I really don't have a lot of gripes with Rift, to be honest. The game is just stunning, the environments are stunning, and the game is just, there's so much stuff to do. I would recommend it to anyone, and that's why I give it a 9.4 out of 10.